Hello again, this is part 4 of the drive configuration. I'm Interlocks from DRA Global, and we are going to be doing an interlock on one of our drives. So let's take AG001, this agitator here, as an example. And what we're going to do is we are going to add a drive interlock here to prohibit starting of this agitator that we've got here. So don't stress too much about the SCADA interface now, that will be covered in part 5. But as you can see here, I can start this agitator. It's up and running now. I can stop it. But I want to prevent this from happening. So if my level is low, so we can use that level for a demo. As you can see, I'm here on the index page, find under engineering. So let's go to our drives. I'm going to go to index because this one is in the index section, and I'm going to open 100AG001. And the first interlock that I've got is my drive interlock. So for this block we've got 4 different sets of interlocks. I've got drive interlocks. This will prohibit any starting of the motor and will stop the motor when this interlock goes active. Then I've got my start interlocks. These interlocks are only valid if the drive is not running. So if this interlock is active, I can't start my drive, but if my drive is running and this interlock goes active, it will not initiate a stop on my motor. So I've got my run interlock. My run interlock is going to be blocked for the duration of the run startup timer. That timer is defined on the drive faceplate, and we'll have a look later to that. And with my sequence interlock, this is when my drive is starting in sequence and I want a specific interlock to prohibit, to start or to stop. During that process, I can link a sequence interlock in here. But we're going to do a drive interlock just for now. So I'm going to go to my first initial, and I want to be able to interlock this drive if my level is below, let's say for argument's sake, 25%. So I'm going to take a comparator here. I'm going to say less or equal, and I'm going to drag that to my first interlock. Then I'm going to need to get my analog values. I'm going to analog and analog tags. And I'm looking for 100 LT001. And what I'm going to compare here is, first of all, I'm going to compare my simulation value. In a normal plant environment, I'll be using the PV, but I'm going to do this with my simulation value. So if my simulation value is less or equal to the alarm set point at low, let's take the low, then this should prohibit my drive to start. I'm just going to swap that for greater than equal because my input needs to be active high. If it's true, then my drive is healthy. If it's false, then my drive is not healthy. So if my level is greater than my low, this will be healthy, not the other way around. So I've put this in, I can actually download it. Just to reinitialize. And if I go live with this interlock, at this stage it should actually, well, it is greater or equal to 0, so it is going to be live. So we need to give our analog an actual low value. So I'm going to go to interlock, to my level, and I'm going to go to configuration, and the low level I'm going to make 25%. Reset, and I'm going to place it into simulation mode, and let's give it a 30%. So at 30%, it's giving me a true output, and if I go back and I give it a low value, will go, and I think that means my drive is interlocked. And if I go to my drive, you'll see there already it gave me a signal that it's been interlocked. And if I click on it and I go to my drive interlocks, you'll see that my first interlock is keeping me from starting this drive. I've got a message here that also said drive interlock is active, and on my status screen I've also got a drive interlock active. So to make it healthy again, let's put the level to a healthy state. I'm just going to give it a reset as well. And if I give my drive a reset now, you'll see that I am healthy. Now the next portion is, I want to give this interlock now the proper description for my operators. So I'm going to go back to my development. I'm going to go to my HMI tags. I'm going to go to index where it's situated. I'm going to open my 100 AG001 drive interlocks section. This section will also, the development of this will be described in a later video. And I'm going to go to this start value. I'm just going to say here level low. And just for operator's sake, I'm going to add a tag as well. So with that being inserted now there, you will see that I've got my level low action now here. In the ASM standard, it can get confusing and overwhelming to see all these other drives also allocated in here. So because this drive's only got one interlock, I'm just going to make a small change so only the interlock that is configured actually shows. So to do that, I'm going to go back to my drive tags. I'm going to scroll down to AG001, and within this I've got the number of amount of drive interlocks used. I'm just going to go into my monitoring mode, and I'm going to change that value to 1, and I'm going to change my startup value to 1. So when my PLC restarts, it will take that value from the DB. Go back to my drive, you will see that only this interlock is now there. So if I can start my drive, there it's up and running. I can go to my level, and I'm going to put it in an unhealthy state, and immediately it stopped my drive, giving me the status of interlocked. And that is it for adding an interlock to a drive. For the SCADA interface, which will cover the whole interlock tag section and all of that, will be covered in part 5 as well. Thank you for watching, and see you again.